Once upon a time, high above the world, there was a tiny cloud who wanted to be a feather. He would float above the world and watch the birds as they floated past him, their feathers ruffling in the wind. He'd gaze at them with envy. "Oh, how I wish I could be like you," he'd sigh. But how? He thought and thought as he drifted along. Then he had an idea. Free and gentle, not heavy with rain, and always on the move. One day, he decided he couldn't bear it any longer. He was going to become a feather. He began to make plans. First, he needed to get smaller. Being a little cloud is much easier than being a big, fat cloud. So he started to shrink himself bit by bit until he was just a little puffy cloud, no bigger than a sheep. She thought for a moment that the cloud who wanted to be a feather might actually be a very strange little boy. After all, why would a cloud want to be a feather? But then she smiled. Next, he needed to find a bird. The cloud who wanted to be a feather watched as it floated away, higher and higher until it disappeared into the clouds. Maybe being a cloud wasn't so bad after all. Just then, a single snowflake landed on his nose. "I never get to be light and free like you." No, not a cloud, he realized. "I'm a snowflake. A friendly bird who wouldn't mind sharing a feather with him." He looked around and spotted a little girl sitting on a branch nearby. Maybe being a snowflake wasn't so bad after all. It was a little chilly, sure, but it was also kind of fun. It was filled with hundreds of snowflakes, all drifting down to earth. He wasn't alone. He was part of something bigger than himself, something beautiful and ever-changing. "Why do you want to be a feather, little cloud? Don't you like being a cloud?" He took the feather in his hands and squeezed it gently. It was soft and warm and smelled like sunshine and a little girl. He closed his eyes and felt like he was flying already. She was small and delicate, like a songbird, and the cloud who wanted to be a feather knew just what to do. He gathered himself up and floated over to her. "Excuse me," he said politely. "I couldn't help but notice you have the most beautiful feathers. Would you mind terribly if I borrowed one? I've been wanting to be a feather for so long, and yours are just so lovely." The little girl looked at him curiously. "Oh no," he said quickly. "I hate being a cloud. I'm always raining and windy and dark." The little girl tilted her head. "Well," she said, "if you really want to be a feather, then here you go." She plucked one of her feathers off and handed it to him. "Just be careful, little cloud. Feathers are delicate. You have to be very gentle with them, or they'll break." The cloud who wanted to be a feather was so happy, but then the wind caught the feather and tugged it from his grasp. He sighed. Maybe being a feather wasn't all it was cracked up to be, he thought. He looked down and saw that it had become bigger and heavier, and as he drifted down to earth, he felt a sense of peace. He landed on the tip of a pine tree and looked up at the sky. And as he watched the other snowflakes twirl and dance around him, he knew he was exactly where he was supposed to be.